Welcome back to Outline and a quick session recap. I just did a 25-minute wake thief on the flat water Starboard Ace Lightning sub paddle up. Haven't done this in a while. Here we go. It's been a while since I did some flat water paddle ups. We're just heading out of winter, and to be fairly honest, my technique was sort of rusted, so were my physics, and I did a few tries before I actually tried to get into the tanker waves, and I didn't get up on the first two, but the one was sort of felt okay, and I do honestly really miss that. It was so much fun. See, there's another one. This is what I've just been surfing. Waves. It's not big, but you'll see it in a second. It's coming. But I'll take you over here, very close to the water surface, so you can actually see this. It's not very steep, it's not very big, but this is sort of what we get. And that's what we're trying. We're trying to be behind the tanker, a few meters off to the side. Totally safe. So if you crash, nothing's gonna happen. And I'm on a big boat. I'm on the Starboard Ace Lightning, 83 liters. It's only 15 inches wide. And maybe I'll give you a quick rundown on this board. It's epic. I'm absolutely in love. I had the version from last year, and I think this is the 25, 26 models. They are the same shape, same construction. It's called blue carbon. Super stiff, and I don't have any problems with scratches, dents. I just hit the board with a paddle right here, but usually you just wipe it off and it's all good. I don't have a single crack, so that's quite nice. The shape is super narrow, but because it has a very flat bottom, it's still fairly stable. Like, don't expect it to be like a wide wing foil board or something with the same literage of 83 liters. It's still, you do need a little bit of balance and experience, but it highly depends on the foil you're using. If you're using a bigger foil, it's almost like an anchor and it gives you a lot of stability. I'm on the Indiana Condor S right now with a small tail and the Condor S stabilizer. Very good combo for these kind of waves. It's not very fast, it doesn't turn very radical, but it just got the right amount of speed and it's fairly easy to paddle up. For someone with a lot of practice, it'll be super easy. For me, it's fairly easy. So back to the Starboard Ace Lightning. Yeah, it's not the most stable one, but for a 15-inch wide board, it's super stable. When I first saw it, when they did the marketing, I think roughly two and a half years back, I looked at the board and I was like, that looks, I'm not saying shit, but it didn't look very appealing. It had these straight outlines, so rounded in the nose, very pointy and rounded in the tail, and then these almost straight sections right, I'll show it to you, right here on both sides. And that was something that looked awkward to me. And then I started, not sure why, but I started to talk to some people about it. I know Lucas Schiller, foil only, was on the board. I talked to Marcus Tadreff from Code Foils on board, and he tried it on the AWSI in Hood River, Oregon. And he said it was one of his favorite boards because it would, even only being 15-inch wide, it would still give him enough stability to throw a lot of power into his paddle stroke. So if you're on something a little bit narrower, even narrower, longer maybe, you might be slightly faster, but the question is, will you be able to transfer all the power into your paddling and into your strokes if you feel unbalanced? So I tried it at boat very quick. I was just standing on the board and I was super impressed, to be honest. But I talked to Carsten. Hey Carsten, thanks for that. He's in charge of, I think, Starboard Germany, maybe some more. He's a very good SUP surfer and foiler as well. He's done some amazing downwind recently, which I saw on Instagram. And he explained the board to me. And then I asked him, can I maybe borrow it for a review? I could not, because it was promised to someone else, but I contacted the someone else person, and she finally gave it to me. That was the one I had before this one, and absolutely fell in love with the board. So I talked to Starboard to borrow this one for a longer period of time. Still having it, I'm still having it. And I'm so happy I took it out today. I actually brought some pumping gear as well. The guys are doing some ladder and dock starts down there, and it would have been easier for me because I'm not trained at flat water paddle ups anymore. I don't have the physics, to be honest, at the moment. I'm getting back into it, but it would have been easier to just jump off the ladder. But I gave it a go, and out of the 25 minutes, and I dropped out. I could have gone forever, but got the family sitting at home and they want to go to the skate park, so there's some family business waiting for me. Otherwise, I could have kept going for almost forever. And it's not only nice to be able to paddle up at the beginning, but once you crash, and this is the big difference towards pump foiling, you can paddle up again if you have the physics. It's quite exhausting to paddle up, but you can do it over and over again. And the same on touchdowns. If you're doing river or lake wake thieving or riding small bumps like they do in Switzerland on the rivers, bigger boards are super forgiving on the touchdowns, and especially something like the Ace Lightning, a narrow board with a planning hull. If it touches down, it usually has a good amount of speed, so you have the least surface area in touchdowns. A displacement hull. You might have seen my video on the Omen Emissary where I talked about displacement hull and planning hull a lot. A displacement hull might get you up faster in the beginning, but it's not that stable because it's like a trunk rolling around. This one is a little bit more stable. Even it's 15-inch only wide, which is super narrow, but it still feels sort of stable. And then with the planning hull, you have the least surface area. It's like a straight line, so surface area creates drag, and on touchdowns having less drag just means you're keeping your speed for longer. And this is really nice in these sort of conditions, when you are in a wake and you're miscalculating, reading the wake, and you're losing speed, you're touching down. This, on a pump board, usually this means you're gonna crash. But on a board like the Starboard Ace Lightning, you're not necessarily going to crash. You cannot only get off the water surface, but you can even do like a micro pump into the water, because you do have a very short section of a displacement hull in the nose and a very pointy, narrow tail back here. And this sort of sinks into the water, allowing the ball that even if you're on the water surface, you can do one micro pump, pushing the nose down, and then because the tail is so narrow, when you're pulling up again, there's almost no resistance pushing the tail into the water. There's a little bit of a tail rocker, which allows you to get away with pretty much everything. So there's a lot of rescue potential in your wake weaving, surfing, whatever you're doing. So I'm really in love with this sport. I'm gonna do more practice for the pedal up, gonna do more practice in the wake. And if you think about it, if you're out in the ocean, if you're maybe a prone surfer, foiler probably, 25 minutes constantly foiling, that's a lot of time. That's the equivalent of maybe a whole vacation. If you're on a prone foil surf trip and you're out for, let's say, 2-3 weeks, and you're doing, let's be honest, a minute a day, maybe 4 waves, and you're crushing and you're doing 10-15 seconds on the wave, that's a minute a day. So in 3 weeks, that's gonna be 21 minutes, and that's just what I did. I did the equivalent learning and feeling and wave reading learning process of a whole holiday in 25 minutes. And that's what I absolutely love about sub flat water paddle ups. The only issue I do honestly have with boards like this is traveling. They're fairly light in the construction, it's super durable, I don't have any problems, but I'm still for traveling. They are bigger, which is sort of a hassle. On the Starboard, I actually use 2 board bags. They're both right engine, one is a day bag, and then I put the day bag into the board bag and probably some other stuff around it, my wetsuit, a towel, changing dry lock rope thing. And that sort of works for me. I didn't have any problems so far, but traveling is a hassle. And I wish I could take my flat water sub, and I'm using it for downwind as well, on any vacation, at any event I'm going to. Because I think this is the one I miss the most. Trickier it gets in foiling to get on foil. Like, let's say if you're overpowered with wing foiling and you do have a big wing foil board, that's the easiest one. And even if you're doing something wrong, if you're not quite in the right spot for pumping, for getting the foil up, you're still gonna make it, because there's a big margin for errors. Because you're overpowered, you do have a big foil and maybe a big board. But if you're doing something like pump foiling or especially flat water pedal ups, these tolerances and margins are getting smaller, which means you need to be more dialed in on your gear, on your foot position, on your setup, on getting your setup tuned to your needs. And that's not an easy one even for me. So I think borrowing a wing foil board sort of works for me, but taking a downwind or a flat water sub pedal up set from someone else and then being able to pedal this one up and surf constantly, it's not that easy, especially not for me. So it might be, you're more professional, you might be better at this. I can do this pretty much for pump foiling, any board, just give it to me, I can pump it, or I get used to it within a couple of tries. But I'm having a hard time on the flat water pedal up. So, to put it all in a nutshell, flat water paddle ups are hard, but if you're enjoying the journey, if you're enjoying the wake, they're super rewarding and what you can do. And I think there's so much potential. We do see the guys in Hawaii doing the M2O and massive runs in big waves and open ocean swell, but there might be some small wind generated swell on your local lake. There might be some tanker waves on your local river all over Europe. With these boards, especially with the Starboard Ace Lightning, there's so much potential that's just waiting to be unleashed. See you guys. If you have any questions, like always, use the comments, and I'm very much looking forward to see you back here on this channel very soon. I'm gonna pedal back. I still have roughly 6 kilometers. See you. Hi folks, I'm here, upside down, riding a pretty long wave. Been, let's say, 6 kilometers already. It's not a perfect wave, I still have to pump now and then. Just crossed the bridge with the ship. That was kind of scary, but it's all good. Waves are fading away here at the moment. Have to get a sweet spot. Here we are back again. A little turn over here, a little turn over here. Not sure why, but the wakes in front always look better when I skipped already 3 or 4. They aren't. All right,